Yo, I'm Toycat, and I'm going to defend this terrible map because people make fun of it a lot, but it's actually how people see this continent, and let me defend why in this video, which is going to come to you from America. Wow, as you can see, I'm in America right now. That makes this video American, which means it's going to be much worse for you, but you're going to realize by the end you actually agree. So with that said, let's talk about America, the country I'm in, with the flag I've got in my background, because although this country is called the United States of America, in the English-speaking world, and many others, people abbreviate it down to just America. This is really offensive to Spanish speakers who insist on saying, no, America is much bigger, we only believe there's one continent here, and this is the United States, or Estados Unidos, because they're referring to the first two letters in the full title of the United States of America. However, if you insist on calling countries by the first two letters in their name, then wouldn't you have to call this country to their south Estados Unidos as well, or the United States? What about Brazil? It also temporarily had the title of United States of Brazil. We call it Brazil, we call it Mexico, and so what should we call this country? Well, I think the United States would be silly, we call it America. So obviously, this is America. The English-speaking world has agreed, even though some people might disagree with that, and that is the least controversial part of this map. Calling this North America and this South America, though, obviously we don't agree with that, except actually we do. So a fun fact you probably do know, if you're into history or geography, is before Canada existed as Canada, before it confederated, it was widely known as British North America, a collection of colonies in North America. And people assume that refers to the continent of North America, and I'm sure to some people it did. However, before Canada, before the United States of America, also known as America to most people, got its independence, the entirety of their colonies were called British America. It was only after the Americans left that America, British America, became British North America. As soon as they shifted north of the United States of America, the British colonies went from being British America to British North America. That tells me, and also if you speak to Canadians, when you actually speak to them, they'll say, yeah, we're Canadians, but when you're referring to the cultural things of like wide roads and silly supermarkets and lots of things you think of as American are actually in Canada too, and so when Canadians refer to this, they'll say, yeah, North American. If you watch YouTube videos from Canadians who like to insist that Canada's a thing too, they'll be like, in North America, referring to, not to their mind, they're referring to the continent, but they're not referring to Mexico or the Caribbean or Honduras, they're referring to Canada and the United States, and so they're really saying Canada is North America. This is America, Canada is North America. And so, logically, the hardest thing to defend now would be, well, that makes some sense. Toycat, British North America was a thing, and British America was a thing. It's not British anymore, but I'm taking it back while I'm here. But what about South America? This is ridiculous, right? You can agree on this much, surely. Except, really, South America, how often does it come up? In the English-speaking world, how often do you refer to South America as a continent? Usually not too often. You refer to countries individually in South America, or you refer to it as Latin America. The reason for this is because South America is such an unhelpful grouping of countries. I mean, if you want to count it, you'd have to be like, well, South America's there, but really we're excluding, like French Guiana, because that's technically a part of France, which means the number of Eiffel Towers on this continent is 1. This is really unhelpful. Grouping South America is useless, because then you have to say, yeah, the Falkland Islands, yeah, so when I'm talking about South America, I really mean the United Kingdom. No one means that. People mean Latin America, which usually groups together as, Latino, which means people who have a Latin-derived language, basically grouping Spanish speakers and, Portuguese speakers together. We don't even usually consider French speakers to be included in that, because otherwise, Latin America would have to include Quebec and Canada, and for some reason, people get offended when I suggest that it should. So obviously, Latin America is really just our way of saying South America, but not actually South America, because included in Latin America are all of these Central American countries, which Honduras, El Salvador, etc. But also included in Latin America is Mexico. When people want to refer to South America, they say Latin America, and they specifically include, they don't say Latin America excluding Mexico, they say Latin America, by the way, I'm not saying the United States of Mexico, notice that, they say Latin America America, including the United States of Mexico, and so as a result, this is South America. Even though the geographic line from North and South America is in Panama somewhere, most people would consider Mexico and anything south of it to be South America, and so this map, if you think about it, is actually accurate, and I like playing devil's advocate, but this is actually true. The more I dive into this, the more I actually believe it's real, and so now you know. Second channel. Let me know what you think. Have I swayed you on this one? I think I'm right? Anyway, second channel. Goodbye.